the rugged wilderness of New Mexico, where desert meets mountain and forests fade into canyons, two apex predators circle the same ground. This is the frontier where two of America's most elusive big cats could cross paths. The jaguar, stealthy, powerful, and rare, versus the mountain lion, adaptable, silent, and widespread. This isn't a fantasy born from fiction, but a real ecological intersection that raises one haunting question. What happens when these two cats clash in the wild? The mountain lion, also known as the cougar or puma, has long ruled the American West. With a range that stretches from the Canadian Yukon to the southern tip of Chile, it's one of the most widespread land mammals in the Western Hemisphere. It thrives in deserts, forests, swamps, and suburbs. A master of ambush, it relies on stealth and powerful hind legs to leap great distances. It prefers to avoid confrontation when possible, using speed and cover to its advantage. In contrast, the jaguar, once widespread across the southern US, has nearly vanished north of the border. Historically, jaguars roamed from California to Texas, especially throughout the Sonoran and Chihuahuan deserts. But by the mid-20th century, they were almost entirely eliminated due to hunting, trapping, and habitat loss. Today, only a handful are occasionally spotted in the mountainous borderlands of Arizona and New Mexico. These sightings are rare and usually recorded by remote trail cameras hidden deep in the brush. Unlike mountain lions, jaguars are stockier, with shorter limbs, broader heads, and powerful jaws capable of cracking turtle shells and bone. They don't just chase prey, they crush it with unparalleled force. And while cougars often avoid confrontation, jaguars stand their ground and face threats head-on. They are solitary like their rivals, but arguably more aggressive, shaped by evolutionary pressures in dense tropical forests. So what happens if these two predators meet in the wild? Can one dominate the other, or would they avoid each other entirely in the vast wilderness? Scientists have speculated on this question for years, drawing comparisons from South America, where both species coexist. Mountain lions typically weigh between 70 to 150 pounds, depending on gender and region. Jaguars, in comparison, can weigh up to 250 pounds in their South American strongholds, though US spotted jaguars are often smaller, closer to 120 to 180 pounds. But weight isn't the only factor in determining the victor in a potential clash. Jaguars are built for brute force, with a bite force stronger than any other big cat relative to size strong enough to pierce skulls. Mountain lions are more agile and acrobatic, able to leap vertically over 15 feet and cover 40 feet horizontally in a single bound. They rely on mobility more than muscle, on quick strikes and rapid retreats. Encounters between these species are extremely rare in the US. But in Brazil's Pantanal region, where both cats share space, jaguars dominate. In those habitats, mountain lions often shift their range and activity patterns to avoid conflict. Could the same displacement happen in New Mexico if jaguar populations rebound? If so, mountain lions might retreat to higher elevations or adjust their hunting hours to avoid the bigger cat. The landscape of southern New Mexico is ideal terrain for both cats. Thick brush provides cover, boulders offer elevation, and an abundance of prey, mule deer, javelina, wild turkeys, and even cattle means food isn't scarce. But as climate change alters migration patterns, vegetation density, and water availability, the competition for space and resources intensifies. Wildlife corridors, like those near the Gila National Forest and Pelonchillo Mountains, are critical. They link the US Southwest to jaguar territories in northern Mexico, acting as highways for dispersing cats. Conservationists are fighting to protect these passages from development, mining, and border wall construction. Because without connectivity, jaguar expansion into the US may stall permanently. But if the corridors remain open, sightings could become more frequent, and so could competition between cats. Mountain lions have the numbers. Thousands roam New Mexico and the surrounding states, thriving even near suburban neighborhoods. Jaguars, meanwhile, are ghost-like wanderers. Just a few males are known to have wandered north in recent decades. Females haven't been seen in years, a troubling sign for long-term population establishment. Which raises another question: can jaguars truly come back to the American Southwest? For that to happen, breeding pairs must establish territories within US borders. Currently, any jaguar spotted in New Mexico is almost certainly a dispersing male from Mexico's Sierra Madre mountain range. Without a mate, he remains alone, a symbol of resilience but not of renewal. Conservation plans, including reintroduction proposals, are on the table and actively debated. The idea of re-establishing a jaguar population in the US is controversial and polarizing. Ranchers worry about potential livestock losses and restrictions on land use. Some fear the implications for hunting and property rights. Others, however, see it as ecological restoration and a chance to rewrite history. Rewilding jaguars would restore a lost part of America's natural heritage and bring balance to predator-prey relationships. And it would reshape predator dynamics in the region in ways we are only beginning to understand. Because the presence of a dominant cat affects the behavior of others throughout the food web. It creates what ecologists call a landscape of fear, where prey shift their movement patterns and smaller predators like coyotes and bobcats move out. Even mountain lions might avoid key areas, leading to cascading effects on deer populations and vegetation growth. It's a chain reaction that begins with a single paw print. Yet the reality remains complex and uncertain. Would jaguars and mountain lions truly compete in a detrimental way? Or would they adapt, partitioning the land in time and space as many predators do? Camera traps in Arizona have shown both cats frequenting the same trails but at different times, suggesting a potential coexistence strategy. One moves at dusk, the other at dawn, using temporal avoidance to reduce the chances of direct conflict. It's a strategy employed by many carnivores around the world, especially where space is limited. But in New Mexico, overlaps are inevitable, and when they do clash, the result could be fatal. A jaguar's crushing bite to the skull leaves little chance for survival, but a mountain lion's agility and quick reflexes could allow it to escape or even land a fatal counterattack. Such showdowns would be rare, perhaps once in a generation, but their impacts could echo loudly across the ecosystem. In the end, this isn't just about two predators. It's about conservation, coexistence, and the future of wild America. The return of the jaguar would be a triumph for biodiversity, but it would also test our ability to manage complex ecological dynamics, including how one apex predator affects another. The mountains, mesas, and shadowed canyons of New Mexico could once again echo with the presence of two great cats. One, the mountain lion, is already home. The other, the jaguar, is knocking at the door. And what unfolds next may shape the fate of both, as well as the fate of the land they roam. In this ancient place where sky meets stone, every track in the sand tells a story. A deer's panicked dash, a cougar's silent stalk, a jaguar's bold pursuit. Here, the ancient dance of predator and prey continues, unfurling with every step. And perhaps, for the first time in centuries, it will feature both of America's fiercest felines. Jaguar and mountain lion strength versus speed, power against precision. A meeting in the wilds of New Mexico that is both a return and a reckoning. And a reminder that this land, despite all odds, remains profoundly wild, and that we still have the power to protect that wildness for generations to come.